Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica, and in today's video I'm going to review my TBRs that I had in 2024. So instead of doing it in 2024, 24 books I want to read in 2024, and I did the same thing in 2025. I'll link my TBR video down below. I actually think I had a couple, but I decided to split it up and add more books than just 25, and I did that in 24, and I actually liked that better because it made me hyper focus on what I really wanted to read and what subgenres I wanted to read in. So let's start off with the historical romances. So the first one was Once More My Darling Rogue by Lorraine Haith. This one is the Amnesia Overboard retelling. I really liked this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. I felt like she legitimately had a right to be mean. She really had a legitimate right to be mean. And he wanted to teach her a lesson until he kind of figured out who she really was as a person. And I enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I had Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas on here, and I gave that one 5 stars. I didn't think I was going to like this. This was the last book I had to read in the Ravenel series, okay? And I put this one last because I heard this one was not good. You're not gonna like it, and I absolutely loved this. And this was Ransom and Dr. Gibson. I think his name was Ransom. He was the illegitimate son of the late, I want to say he was Earl. He could have been an Earl. I don't quite remember what the guy was. I just remember him being a jackass of the Ravenels. Anyway, it's their story. He works for Bow Street, and she's a doctor, and I loved them. I loved their dynamic. I loved getting to see West Ravenel in this before he had his romance. I loved how they grew to love each other and the way they were both protective over each other. I just absolutely loved this book. It was so beautifully written. I had to give it 5 stars. And then I read Honor Splendor by Julie Garwood. I am a Julie Garwood stan. This one I gave 4.5 stars. I thought it was well written, I just really, truly enjoyed this one. You cannot go wrong with a Julie Garwood book. So, and I knew that. That's one of the reasons why I put it on here, so make sure I have some solid ones before I go through. The next one was Her Ruthless Duke by Scarlett Scott. This one was hot. I gave it 5 stars. Like, this one was definitely, you could tell that was written after the first 3 books. Before the Lorraine Heath book, the Lisa Kleypas book, and the Julie Garwood book. This one felt more newer, more fresher, and you can tell that it was written in more of a contemporary mindset. I still loved it. That one was just so good. I am very much enjoying my time with Scarlett Scott. She's a fantastic writer, so I had to give that one 5 stars. And I put Magnet by Joanna Shupe on this list because I want to read more Joanna Shupe. She does more New York Gilded Age, and I am just thoroughly enjoying her writing. I'm enjoying her books, and I loved that he was a self-made man, and I love that she wanted to work on a stock exchange, even though it was not something women did at the time. And then you had that one scene where they were snowed in at the office. Chef's kiss, perfect, 5 stars, loved it. And I know that everybody didn't like the hero, but I personally love a grumpy, self-made hero, so he fit me just fine. And then I put Indigo by Beverly Jenkins on here because I heard so much great things about it, and it wasn't disappointing. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. There was a lot of stuff that she goes off. The one thing that I realized reading Beverly Jenkins is that she goes off on a lot of explanations about the time period and stuff, as though that kind of slows down the pace of the storytelling and the character growth and stuff like that. I still love the characters. I still love the romance. I still love the world. For me, it was more of, I needed to go a little more faster than what it did. I know this time period. I don't need a rehash of it. So, but again, I teach history, so if I want, so yeah. I mean, that's all I can say. She's a gorgeous writer. Like, Beverly Jenkins can tell a really good story. She just puts a lot of information in there. So, okay, moving on. Then I read Sweetest Scoundrel by Elizabeth Hoyt. This is, I think, in her Maidenly series. I give 4.5 stars. I had a fun time with this. This was a really well done book. I loved it. It was just good. Like, there's not much I can say about it. I don't remember most of the characters, but I do remember enjoying my time in the book, and I really do enjoy Elizabeth Hoyt as a writer. She can tell a good story as well. Then I had Forever Your Rogue on here by Erin Langston. I gave 4.5 stars. I really loved this book. I loved how she took control over her situation, and I loved that he was on there kind of for the ride, and it just was just such a fun time. I thoroughly loved the sweet little romantic gestures and the little romantic moments that were in this book. Fantastic, and I enjoyed it. Then I read Ravished by Amanda Quick. This is probably my least favorite Amanda Quick book. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was not a bad book by any means. I just was bored, and I needed a more. I don't know what I needed, but it didn't work like Dangerous and her other books just really work for me generally. But for some reason, Ravished, it was good, but I don't really remember much about it other than it was good. So, and then my next book on this list was The Perfect Rake by Anne Gracie. I am trying to get through Anne Gracie's backlist. I'm enjoying her. She can write historical romance as well. I love her writing. She can write class difference really well in such a fun and unique way. I found that in The Perfect Rake. I found that in the Autumn Bride. She writes masterful characters who are well developed and just well paced stories, and they're enthralling. I just love them, and I really loved The Perfect Rake, and I had to give it 5 stars. Then I read Second Dukes to Charm by Kate Bateman, and I gave this one also 5 stars. Like, Kate Bateman is always a hit for me. She's a little more contemporary in the way she word things, as well as some of the themes that she puts in her books, but it really, really worked. I enjoyed that book immensely. I highly recommend it. Then the last book on here I wanted to read was Gentle Rogue. That cover. This was totally cover lust. This is why I put this on. I was totally cover lust. And this was by Johanna Lindsay. This is in their Mallory Anderson series. He is a retired pirate. So you do get the sailing the high seas and stuff. And she's a stowaway because she pretends to be a cabin boy because she wants to go back to America to her family, who they own a shipping company, and her brothers and him are rivals. She was in England trying to find her fiance, who was married to another woman for a very long time. She didn't know. She was sitting there waiting for him, so she decided to go find him and found out, yeah, he actually had he had a wife. Anyhow, so she's like, peace out, dude, I'm out of here. She meets the hero in the book before, Gentle Rogue, when they were at a tavern, and the guy inadvertently figures out that she's a woman, and then she goes ask for a job on his boat, and he immediately recognizes her, and so he taunts her. He walks around naked and stuff. It is such a fun time. It is so much a bodice ripper historical romance. Loved it. I am thoroughly enjoying the Mallory Anderson series. It's such a 5-star for me. So the first book on my backlist TBR for 2024 is The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora. I think this is the book for the first book in the Windsor series. This one, he was supposed to marry her sister, and her sister's like, I'm not going to marry him. So she's always loved our hero, and it was messy. It was very, very messy. Basically her sister was playing games to get the hero, right? It was stupid. Like, the sister was very stupid. I really loved the angst and the mess, though. It was well written, well paced. I just enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I had The Culmination of Everything by Christina St. Jones on here. I was liking the book, and it was a solid 4 stars until a character said something. So basically, after he had sexy time with the heroine, and it was sort of hate stuff because he didn't like her, but yet he went into bed with her. The next day, when they were doing like I think it was storm relief. He basically told his friends to shoot their shot because she was hot. And that turned me way off. I was like, absolutely not. I don't like people in general like who are like that. That is just so conniving and horrible. I do not like it in real life, and I do not like it in a book. And I'm kind of sad about that because I really liked the writing up until this point. I just did not like his character so much that I could not continue on. And I did ask in a previous video if it was something that I should get over and move on to see if, because if the story is that good, then I'm more willing to move on from something like that. But nobody told me, so it stayed a DNF at 30%. So I'm kind of sad about that one. Then I have Peaches and Dreams by Juliet Cross. This is in the Green River series, and it's her contemporary romance, small town. And I just loved it. I gave 5 stars. It was a well-written small town romance. I love Juliet Cross. Like, she is a very good writer. I'm so glad she's been doing really, really well. And I'm excited to see what she has coming in 2025. So, and then I'm not going to talk a lot about the next book because it was on my top reads of 2024, and that is Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. This one is amnesia and marriage and trouble, and it does have the cheating trope, but the way she wrote it, the way the characters were developed, he woke up without remembering 2 years, so he didn't remember that him and his wife were getting a divorce. So, and that he didn't remember that he cheated and why. Like, he didn't remember any of that, and it gave him a reset to work through their stuff. So I enjoyed it, and I had to give it 5 stars, and it's one of my favorite books of 2024. And then I read Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. I had high hope for this book because everybody just loves it. I enjoyed it. I gave 4 stars. It's a good start to a series. I haven't continued on the series, but I did go on to the Secret Bookcase series, which I have really been enjoying. The Meet Your Baker series is a longer one, so that's one of the reasons why I went directly to the Secret Bookcase series, because it was a new one that she started writing in 2024. So the next one on this list was Dawn by S.J. Tilley. This one, he branded her in such a way that I was like, what the heck? This is mafia romance. It's unhinged. It was a damn good time. I loved the characters. I loved the back and forth on this one. Like, this series is so fantastic. It is unhinged. It is mafia. It is I'm gonna keep you vibes. I'm going to burn down the world for you vibes. I just loved this whole series, and I loved Dom. I think is my favorite in the series, and I gave 5 stars. It's so good. The next one on this list was Pretty Ugly Promises by C.W. Farnsworth. I really enjoyed this one. I gave 4.5 stars. This one's second chance secret baby trope, and it was just so good. I mean, Lila ghosted Nick after was ghosted by Nick, and then 9 years later she ran into his best friend when she told him about their son Leo, and suddenly she finds out that Nick is in the mafia, and that's why he ghosted her. So angsty, so crazy, so good. Loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. And then I read Choosing Theo. This is an alien romance where this woman is abducted. This Earth woman was abducted by little green men, and they crash landed on another planet. And she can't go home, right? So she gets her choice of men because there's more men on this planet than women. And so she chooses Theo because she thinks his tattoos are great, but his tattoos aren't actually tattoos, they're scars. And he's gruff and he's grumpy because he thinks people don't like him. And in his planet, they don't, but she likes him a lot, and they end up being soulmates, and I loved it. And it was such a great time, and I gave it 5 stars. Then I had this Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent on here. I liked it. I liked the characters. I liked the romance. I liked the pacing. It didn't hit like 6 Scorched Roses did, so I ended up giving it 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it. And then I read A Stitch in Time by Kelly Armstrong. This one was really good. This was a time travel romance where this woman could go back and forth to Victorian Scotland, and she befriended a a kid, when she was a kid at the Scottish manor, and then things happened, and then she came back years later when they're adults after her husband had passed away, and they reconnect and reunite, and they work through some stuff, and there's some malevolency of the ghosts who are still haunting the manor and who was trying to hurt the Scottish lord. And it was just a really well written, great romance, and it was time travel. I like time travel romances, they're kind of fun. Hey guys, so I was editing this video and I realized that I forgot a book, and it is A House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This book 2 in the Crescent City series. I had to think about that for a second because I got a headache. But anyhow, this one I gave 5 stars. I really, really love this one. This was Bryce and Hunt's story. They're fated mates. This one picks up where Earth and Blood, I think that's the first one, it picks up where that one left off. And this one, that ending was very shocking. Of course it had a cliffhanger. It's a romantasy in a series. It has a cliffhanger. One of the things that I loved about this more so than the first book was they didn't have the backstory info dump that the first one really had. And I felt like there was a lot of suspense plot as well as political intrigue in this book. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the progression of the characters, Bryce and Hunt, as well as their secondary character. And I'll talk more about them in my next video when I do the new releases, because I read House of Sky Shadows. I don't remember the name of it. I want to say Bone and Shadow, but it's not that. I'll put it right there. That's the one. That was the one that came out a year ago. I can't believe it's been a year since I read that book. But yes, actually, hold on. A House of Flame and Shadow. I had to think about that one for a second. But anyhow, okay, so I really enjoyed book 2 the most, and I feel like the progression was just there. I enjoyed House of Flame and Shadow, and I will talk more about it in the next video. So let's just get to the last book on this list right now. And the last book on this list was Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. Loved this book, gave it 4.5 stars. I really am enjoying Candy Steiner's I'm slowly going through her backlist, and I love her sports romance. I need to finish this series, but it's really, really well done. There's not much more I can say about it other than I had fun in my time with them. So I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to make a part 2 because I do not want to keep talking about every single book and making this 45 minutes long, okay? I don't want to do that again. So I will make a part 2, and you'll be able to see that next week, okay? And then, so anyway, let me know if you read any of these down below, if you like them. I think so far I've picked really good books for myself because it's showing me that I know myself as a reader more so than I was. And I'm also willing to try new things and try new to me authors, new to me genres. I'm willing to try them all. So if you have any recommendations, leave them down below. And if you made this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here, but you don't want to say anything, please leave me a clock emoji because I read a time travel romance. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.